Hello and welcome to my June budget. We are just about halfway through the year and this year has gone by so fast already. If you're new here, my husband and I are in our 30s and we're working towards paying off debt and saving for retirement. We have a 7-month-old daughter and we would also like to save for her education. Let's just get right into the budget. So first of all, June will be my first month of 2 paychecks that are exactly the same, hopefully. So, if you're new here, I have been on unpaid maternity leave for the beginning of the year, and it took until my second paycheck in May to get me all caught up on unpaid leave, paid time off, all of that, so that my paychecks were actually full-time. So I'm expecting each of my paychecks this month to be $3,007.28, getting paid twice. So I should be bringing in $6,014.56. My husband, his paychecks have been very consistent all year, except for when we switched his retirement contributions. We decreased them from 15% to just 3%, which is his company match, in order to have more income that we can use towards saving to pay off our new roof and also paying for my daughter's daycare expenses. So his paychecks should be $2,179.66. He should be getting paid twice. So he should be bringing in $4,359.32. And again, if you haven't seen my videos, this is just 80% of his take-home pay that hits our account, our joint account. This is my full paycheck, but I keep 20% of my pay in a personal account for me as well, and these accounts we use just for any personal spending that does not apply to the household. So sometimes it's buying gifts for each other, sometimes it's buying things for our own personal use that the other person doesn't need or want. So, and it just gives us a little bit of freedom with our money, because I'm the one who manages all the bills and my husband likes to have some money that I'm not actively managing. So he doesn't track his spending quite as closely as I like to track our spending. So any of my purchases that are my personal purchases, I also include in this budget. I don't indicate whether or not they are from my personal account or from the joint account when I make purchases and record them here. And that's just the way we do it. It works for us. If you do it differently, then let me know in the comments what works best for you and your partner. For the rest of our income, I'm going to leave interest blank for now because I like to, at the end, make sure my final budget turns out zero, and I do that by just giving us a random amount of interest, usually a conservative amount, because we typically get at least $50 in interest. I usually keep my budgeted amount pretty low so that if we end up with more income than we anticipated, it's usually better than ending up with less income than we anticipated. I'm not going to budget for any rewards. Sometimes we get credit card rewards. It's usually $25, but not every month, so I'm going to leave that blank. Refunds, also leave that blank. We're still waiting for our state tax return, and I know how much that is supposed to be, but I'm not going to add it to our budget since it's been like 4 months since we were supposed to get that and we still haven't yet. For other income, not expecting anything in the other category. So we're expecting to bring in a little bit over $10,000 this month, which is pretty nice. And going forward, that should be pretty consistent for the rest of the year, that our income will be about $10,000. For our debts, we have our mortgage payment that comes out at the beginning of every month. That's $2,705.45. And that includes property taxes and homeowners insurance that's paid into escrow. So for our car payment, we pay this every other week, and it's a payment of $311.07. So we'll be paying that twice this month for a total of $622.14. I think we currently owe about $18,000 still on the truck. That is currently our highest interest loan. I think it's at 5.69%. So if we have any money for additional debt payoff, we will be tackling the car loan first. But for now, our biggest goal is saving for our new roof, since that is currently at 12 months interest-free financing, and so we would like to pay that off before the end of the 12 months, which will be next April. I'll talk about that more when I get to the savings. So for student loans, my husband has student loans. They're a minimum monthly payment of $382, and most of those are below 4%, so we are probably not going to be paying those off early unless we pay off the car early. Then we'll probably tackle the student loans. And then I have a retirement account loan that is deducted from my paycheck, $236.22 every paycheck. So since I'm getting paid twice, that will come out twice for $472.44. And I took out this retirement account loan to use as a down payment for the house. It was a $50,000 loan. I think I still owe just under $40,000 on that. It's a 10-year loan. It's at a 4% interest rate, but all of that interest gets paid back to me, which is part of the reason why I decided to do a retirement account loan. I know it's not like the best thing to be pulling from your retirement, and especially paying it back with only 4% interest is not nearly what the average stock market returns are, but it made my mortgage payment a little bit more manageable by doing it that way, and that's what I did. Can't change it now. So overall, our debt payments this month will be $4,182.03, which is what we usually pay every month. So, and we usually don't contribute additional to debt at this time. Moving on to our fixed expenses, we have our utilities. They're set at $184 right now, and that's just electricity. And car insurance, that is supposed to be $163.74. For the past 2 months, we've been getting a discount on that when it's actually been time to pay that, but I think that discount has run out. We were receiving that discount for getting a new roof, and we got a discount on the homeowners insurance, which also applied to the car insurance since we have them at the same place. But I don't think we're getting the discount anymore. So budgeting $163.74. And even if we were getting the discount, I would still keep the original amount as our budgeted amount. because it's better to budget for higher expenses and have them be lower than budget for lower expenses and have them be higher. Um, for internet, that's always $29.99. And my Acorn subscription, this is my after-tax brokerage account. I just pay $1 every month for that. If you're interested in signing up for an Acorns account, if you haven't already, I have a link in the description. You can get $5. I'll get $5. And it'll be a win for both of us. Daycare, not really sure how much this is going to be. I don't think she's going to be starting full-time in June. I think she's still going to be part-time. I'm going to put it at $930, but we will see. So I'm supposed to be going back to work, like actually working full-time. I have been taking like vacation time 2 days a week because we weren't able to get full-time daycare, but I am running out of vacation time, so I don't really know what we're going to be doing towards the end of June or even into July if we are unable to, if I have to go back to work full-time and we aren't able, and we don't have daycare for those days, 2 days a week for a week or two. I may have to take unpaid leave, or my husband may, he might have more vacation time left and he may be able to stay home with her for those additional couple of days. Okay, moving on to savings. We have my FSA. I contribute $20 every paycheck for this. So that will be $40 this month, and this is for any health expenses. My husband has an HSA, but we're going to try and save that as much as we can because we are able to invest in the HSA, whereas we can't invest in the FSA. But we still do the FSA because we still have health expenses, and it's nice to get that tax break. It reduces my taxable income, not by very much since I'm not contributing a whole lot to that, but we can pay for our health expenses without paying tax, and that's nice too. For my husband's Roth IRA, we'll budget $500. I'm still not sure if we are going to be contributing to this anymore this year since we are really working towards saving for the new roof. For my Acorns after-tax brokerage account, I budget $10. I have a monthly $5 recurring contribution, and then I have roundups, but the roundups don't always hit. But if they do, they're about $5. So I budget $10 into that every month. For the emergency fund, we're not budgeting anything for that because it's currently at an okay level. And we, again, are focusing on our new roof. I'm going to leave the new roof blank because I like to throw everything that I have at the end in there after I do a lot of our sinking funds and the rest of our savings. So for my daughter's 529, we're budgeting $415. We would like to contribute $5,000 by the end of the year to her 529. We will be able to write off on our state taxes up to $5,000 contributed to her 529, so that's our goal so that we can save a little bit on our taxes. I actually haven't opened up the account yet. I know it's been 6 whole months that I've been talking about contributing to her 529, and I actually haven't contributed anything to it yet. It's actually all in savings, earmarked for her 529, but it's not actually in there yet. which I guess means we're missing out on any kind of investment growth. So I should probably get on that. I still haven't decided if I'm going to invest with Vanguard or Fidelity, so let me know in the comments if you have a preference of which way I should go for a 529, or if there may be a better option that you know about. I would love to get some insight on that. So for all of my sinking funds, I have a lot of sinking funds. Because I like to have everything categorized nice and neatly. My first is home, and this is for any maintenance that we have around the house. Also, sometimes if we need to buy like cleaning stuff that I don't buy at the grocery store, that will go into home as well. Anything for the garden, stuff like that. This month I'm going to budget $900, which is a little bit more than we usually budget, and that's because I think we will be buying a new pool pump. I mentioned that in my May update that we need to do that, so that will come out of the home, and we'll also probably have to buy other pool chemicals for the pool for the summer because we will be opening it probably before this video goes up. For groceries, budgeting $275, which is a little bit less than I budget, and that's because we have quite a bit in that sinking fund, and I wanted to put more towards home, so not as much towards groceries. And then for car and gas, $150, which is also less than we usually do, and that's for the same reason, that we have quite a bit in there. And also, like, my husband hasn't been using the joint account for buying gas, and I buy gas like every 3 months or something now. Now that I'm driving a little bit more, I'm buying it a little bit more often, so we don't need quite so much in the car and gas. Plus, I got my new tires, and I got my new battery, so hopefully there won't be any maintenance. Of course, my husband has a brand new truck. It's not even a year old yet, so... and he gets free oil changes at the car dealership where he bought it. So we shouldn't need any maintenance, although I think probably coming up in July I'll need an oil change, maybe. I'll have to see. I usually only get it every 10,000 miles, and I'm not really sure how many miles I've gone since my last oil change. So, but I think that it's usually only like $50, so we definitely have enough in there. Okay, enough about car and gas. Moving on to gifts and donations, we'll budget $45. I have both my niece's birthdays coming up this summer, so we will use that fund for them, as well as when Christmas comes around, we will use the gifts and donations for buying gifts for the rest of the family. For restaurants, we'll budget $35. Even though we're doing our low spend year, we're still budgeting for restaurants as like a just in case we get takeout for a special occasion. And so it's nice to have a little bit of money in our restaurant fund. We haven't really spent very much. As you can see, year to date, $38.06 we've spent, and that was just me buying my husband food for his birthday. So far this year, we haven't spent very much in restaurants, but we're still budgeting for it. For pets, I'm going to budget $25. I have 2 rabbits. They get food every couple months. They might need hay soon, and then they have their vet at the beginning of the year. So we probably won't need to spend any of their sinking fund this month, or we won't need to spend very much through the end of the year. Because their vet appointments are usually in January. For baby, I'm budgeting $130, although I don't think I need to buy her anything. My parents got her a bathing suit for Easter, so she has a bathing suit for learning to swim this year in the pool. She's probably a little bit too young to learn to swim, but floating around in the pool. For clothing and personal, I'm budgeting $5. Again, with our low spend year, we're trying not to spend in this category, and we haven't spent too much so far. For health, budgeting $5. This is for anything that is not covered by the FSA if we have some health purchases. Right now it's negative because I need to get some reimbursements done for the FSA. So I put it in the health category, and then I'll probably credit it back into the health savings sinking fund when I get that reimbursement. For travel and entertainment, budget $15. We haven't spent any of that yet, but this summer we may be spending a little bit if we want to do any events over the summer. For phone, we're budgeting $45. This will be due, our phone plan will be due in August for renewal, so we need $45 every month in order to cover that. And for miscellaneous, I budget $15. I don't usually spend it, but that's just for anything else that may come up over the month. So for interest, to make our final budget a nice even number, we'll say we earn $6.88. We will probably earn significantly more than that, but I'll just leave it at $6.88 because it's better to under budget. And then for our new roof, $2,280 to make our final budget zero. And that's how much we will be contributing to that savings. It's probably not enough to be saving just $2,280. So we may have to cut back in some other areas. We have another month this year where we will be getting 3 paychecks like last month, and so that should boost our savings towards the roof. But we need to have the $44,055 ready to go to pay off that roof before next April, so that we don't have to pay interest. And I'm not sure if there's back interest that's going to be charged if we don't pay it in time, and so we will definitely be paying that off before next April. If we have to pull from our emergency fund, if we're unable to save up that total amount, then that's what we'll do. But for now, our goal is to save as hard as we can, as much as we can, towards paying off that new roof in April next year. That is our top goal. So that is my June budget. Hopefully moving forward, my budgets will be a little bit more consistent and easier to set up. It's been pretty stressful this beginning of the year, but I never knew exactly how much I was getting paid, so it was very hard to fill up all of my categories. Now that my paychecks will be much more consistent, it should be a lot easier to set up my budget. However, we probably will have a lot more expenses over the summer because we have birthday parties for my nieces, expenses for the pool, and a little bit of travel and other events. If you haven't set up your June budget yet, it's not too late, and this is your sign to get it started. If you're interested in following along with my family as we continue to budget to pay off our debt and save for retirement, then please hit subscribe. I would love to have you follow along. Thank you for being here.